team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
So, yeah, it's a Thursday, not a Tuesday, but you know what? Sue us. Anyways, what up? It's Energy 95.3's Condors Connection.
I have no money. Don't sue me.
You've been to Vegas a little too, or Henderson, which is close enough, too many times this year.
Money now. We'll see about tomorrow.
We'll see about that. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Other side of the split screen is my brother from another mother. His name is Ryan Holt. He's your Bakersfield Condors voice of the action. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Yeah, last weekend of the regular season. It's always bittersweet, but always sweet because we're heading to the postseason, so can't beat it. It's
kind of crazy already. I mean, it just literally feels that maybe a month ago we started the season, but literally it has been a little longer than that. But we're here once again, and we got a lot to talk about, not only with the Edmonton Oilers and the Bakersfield. I want to also hit up some of the other stuff going on in hockey land. So if you're open to that, we'll hit that up. But let's do what we do. We always talk about the parent organization first, our parent owner, which is the Edmonton Oilers. And, of course, playoff time is here once again. We know for sure in the playoffs they are going to be having home ice, but it's hard to believe today is the last day of the regular season. We still don't know who we're facing, either Vegas or LA. Let's break it down. First of all, let's talk about the game that we had yesterday. Was it yesterday? I'm sorry, my days are kind of blurring. Arizona, which we'll talk a little more about that in a moment here, but it was a loss, but it was a game in which we kind of knew we were going to have that second place position, right?
Yeah, it's the Oilers are what they call playing out the string here. Just from Edmonton's perspective, getting some guys some opportunities. Adam Ernie and Sam Gagne recalled yesterday. Philip Broberg played last night. So, do they want to win? Yes, but winning or losing doesn't change anything right now.
Right.
For Edmonton, if Vegas wins tonight, the Oilers will play Vegas. If Vegas loses and LA wins, the Oilers will play LA. So that's kind of the scenario. It doesn't matter what the Oilers do against Colorado. They're going to be the 2 seed. They'll have the home ice advantage. And, I think it's a terrific turnaround from late November, from Thanksgiving, when the team was, 7th from the bottom, if not worse.
Right.
And to get to where they are now. So credit to everybody up there. It's going to be a fun playoffs. It'll start next week. And like I said, home ice is, I think, the most important thing for them. And, we'll see who they play. But, Vegas, LA, they're all good teams at this point of the year.
Let's go and talk about that. I mean, tonight, game against the Avs, it's the last game of the season. Is this a game where pretty much you're going to see a lot of resting of people, or what normally happens here?
I mean, as much as you can, right? And I think the same thing for Colorado, right? Like, the game means nothing for the Avalanche, too. It means nothing for the Oilers. Your biggest win tonight is get everyone healthy out of the game tonight. So I would anticipate guys like Adam Ernie and Sam Gagne and Philip Broberg and Troy Stetcher, guys who are kind of on the cusp, or kind of tweener guys to get in the lineup tonight and be able to play. So, a couple of those guys will end up coming back to Bakersfield for the weekend and into the postseason next week for us. But for now, it's an opportunity for them. Anytime you go to the National League, it's, a great chance to prove yourself and give yourself another opportunity. And then we'll see what happens after that. But I think it's just get everyone healthy, get to next week, and LA, Vegas, doesn't matter. You're going to have a good opponent, and we'll see what happens.
Well, you say it doesn't matter, but let's do some tea leaves here, Ryan. Which one would you prefer?
Vegas seems to have like the number, if you will. I think.
Well, they're also playing their normal end of season game. Let's just say it bluntly, but we'll leave that there.
But I think Vegas got burned by that a couple of years ago, right? Like,
right.
They had some, let's LTIR some people, and everyone's like, oh, they're cheating, and then they didn't make the playoffs. And they lost the last game of the year. They limped kind of into this year. Yes, they're getting their guys back, and Hurdle and Stone, and Vegas is kind of the bugaboo, right? Like, the Oilers haven't knocked off Vegas in the postseason. They had an opportunity and couldn't get it done, and then the Oilers have eliminated the Kings each of the last 2 years, so the Kings are probably looking at it going, do we want to play Edmonton, or do we want to play Dallas, or there's no easy answer right here. And I think both teams present different issues. I think LA, the Oilers have found the secret sauce with them. and I think the Oilers win either series. And I don't think the LA series goes as long as maybe people thought. Vegas probably the tougher of the two. I'll go with Vegas as the tougher of the two, but I like the Oilers either way.
Well, let's go and transition in talking about the game last night. It was a loss for Edmonton, but right now, literally, like you said, it doesn't matter for Edmonton's point, but it was a big night for Arizona and their fans and the Coyotes, where everything's but put on paper that Arizona's last game was versus Edmonton, and they're going to be going to Salt Lake City next year. What's the feels? What's the vibes?
Not good if you're an Arizona fan.
And
I think there's a myriad of factors in anything, and anytime this happens, I don't, to be honest with you, and this might sound bad, I don't think of the players. I think first of the staff, and then second of the fan base. So the first, the staff, which is not relocating.
No,
like they're, someone's in the sales office or on the marketing team or kind of in the front office. They're not necessarily just moved over. And if they are, that's a different story than if, Shane Doan has to relocate or whoever, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's different from a player's point of view. I understand the player's concern. Listen, you make at least $1 million a year. I'm not as concerned. So I feel for the staff first and foremost. And it was the same thing with Stockton leaving a couple of years ago. 30 people lost their jobs without really much saying what kind of happened. So that's first and foremost. And the second is the fans, right?
Right. This fan base has literally gone through hell and high water.
They've been through everything, right? Like when they first moved out of Phoenix, this was early 2000s, to Glendale. Glendale had to come in late and build them an arena to be able to even get to Glendale. When the Suns kicked them out of downtown. And then, they've gone through a couple different owners. This latest one doesn't appear to be the greatest owner in the world. It's too bad because Phoenix is a huge market.
Yeah.
It's a top 10 market, right? Mm-hmm. It's Phoenix, now Phoenix and Houston. Phoenix, Houston, Atlanta, the 3 out of the top 10 markets that the NHL doesn't have teams in, I believe, if I'm doing my geography right. So,
yep, you're right.
And Houston doesn't have a team for a myriad of reasons. Atlanta's had a bunch of teams. You have to,
everything should be,
and it's not
announced at some point today, but pretty much they're saying they're going to get maybe 5 years to get their ducks in a row. Sorry, wrong team, but
personally, just my own personal belief, I'm not buying that comes to fruition. I actually hope, and Paul Bissonnette said it last night, that he hopes that it's another owner that ends up getting a crack at it. Do I think hockey goes back into Phoenix? Yes, I do. Because it's too big of a market not to have it. And it's, there's too big of an underswell right now with the youth hockey there, with everything that kind of has gone on over the last 30 years. And that's a credit to the Coyote staff. So it's unfortunate. It's not an indication of, desert or Western or I always love the word non-traditional. Like, what is a traditional hockey market? It snows. So, what's a traditional baseball market? Like, is Minnesota a traditional baseball market? So I think hockey goes back there. It's unfortunate what's happening. Salt Lake is a cool place, and, it's a cool area, and they're going to need to do some renovations on the building, certainly to, get it up to snuff here in the next couple of years. But from all indications is that Jazz owner is a good owner and deep pockets. And hey, more teams, the better in my mind.
And that they were trying to go after the A's. They didn't get it. The A's went to Sacramento. I know, wrong sport, but we'll talk about that a little bit. Where like Salt Lake City is hungry. They got the Jazz and they got MLS, but they're hungry for more sports and they're willing to like back it up. So it's going to be
and it's a and to be honest with you, it's a downtown arena. If Phoenix was downtown, if they were still in that building, and I know it wasn't the greatest building for hockey, but if you had a downtown arena, the Coyotes would be successful.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. The problem is, and what a lot of people are facing now, and Oakland is still facing it, right? Or the artist formerly known as, they got to get a building. Like, you got to get an arena. And then it seems like anytime you get an arena, 5-10 years later, you want a new arena. Like the Diamondbacks want changes to their arena, to their stadium. It's like 20 years old. Like, and you built it back then, like it was state of the art, and so that's where and this is where it comes down to ownership, right? Jerry Jones built his own place. SoFi was built by Kroenke. Like, if you want to build it, you have to build it. Because the days of, let's face it, John Q. taxpayer of, shelling out arenas are kind of gone. So, that's why Oakland still has trouble in Vegas. Like, that is not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination. Vegas does not want them building there unless they're building it themselves. So we'll see.
Well, let's go I was trying to find my way to transition. I think the way to transition is talk about the AHL and how this could affect that. Because from what I'm understanding, Morello still, who was the owner of the Coyotes, still owns Tucson. How do you think that's going to affect as we translation into the Bakersfield Condors talk?
Yeah, again, I don't know. And again, we'll wait and see what happens. And again, the first thing I think about is the Tucson staff, right? Like, you have to answer questions that you're probably not, you probably don't know the answers to. And if you do know the answers, you might not want to give them. So, again, hope it works out. Salt Lake or, whatever they are, will need an AHL team. Chicago's independent right now, so maybe they get into the mix. I don't know how it works. There's not going to be an imbalance of AHL teams. There's not going to be more AHL teams than NHL teams. They've already said that. It's going to be 1-to-1, and you're going to have to figure it out. So you can go independent. I don't know if that works but it's a mess. There's no doubt about it. And, obviously Tucson's having a terrific year this year, and it's unfortunate they have to deal with this stuff right now. It really is.
Right. Well, let's go and talk about some happier things, and that is heading into the playoffs. So let's talk about what's happened since last time you and I talked. 2 games they played. We had a split. We had a win over the top team, Coachella, but unfortunately lost versus Ontario. What does that look like towards the matchups as we head into the playoff time?
Yeah, we got a point against Ontario last night. It was a back and forth game, had a lead going into the third, and got a point, tough bounce in overtime, but a big win over the division champs last Friday in overtime too. So what does it all mean? It means we're not going to have home ice in round 1.
Right.
And that comes with a caveat, because we've been talking about best of 3s being played in one spot. The caveat to that is if we do end up playing Ontario in round 1, Ontario and Colorado are probably, it's probably 50-50 at this point. Colorado might be a little higher percentage-wise if you did it out, but if it's Colorado, we'll play all 3 there. If it's Ontario, game 1's there Wednesday, game 2's here Saturday, and then game 3, if necessary, is back down there Sunday. So, so we'd be home next Saturday for game 2. So that's a 1-1-1 series if it is Ontario. So that's a positive. I still like us going to Colorado too. I like us going to Tucson if it ends up being that. It'll be one of those 3 teams: Tucson, Ontario, Colorado. We can't play Abbotsford, which is nice because we didn't really want to travel there anyways. And we'll see what happens. But at this point, all of these series, if you were a betting person, 50-50. Like, it's going to be tossed.
You got 33.3% because you got 3 teams going to mix. And the importance of the back-to-back, which is going on the last 2 games of the season versus Henderson, 1 game there, 1 game here. What are you seeing in the tea leaves, and what do you want to have happen?
I want us playing good hockey going into next week, and that means going out on a high. That means winning Friday, Saturday. Winning Friday, Saturday doesn't guarantee one spot for us. We'll either finish 5th or 6th. If we win both, higher chance of finishing 5th, but still could finish 6th. We just got to gain 2 more points than Abbotsford. So if Abbotsford loses both this weekend, we need 1 win. If they get 1 point, we need 3 points. That kind of is how it works. And we have the tiebreaker with them. So, and then Colorado and Ontario play each other. So they don't finish until Sunday. So we're likely not going to know until Sunday night, where we're going to end up going, come Monday, Tuesday. But we'll figure that out. But again, like I said, we're ready for anybody. We're ready for Ontario, ready for Colorado. We're ready for Tucson. Whoever we end up getting, like I said, it's going to be a 50-50 series, and it'll be really fun next week.
So we're kind of looking, no matter what, Wednesday will probably be our start day.
Wednesday will be the start day regardless. Yep. It's either Wednesday in Colorado, Wednesday in Tucson, or Wednesday in Ontario.
Got it. Perfect. And hopefully next Tuesday, depending on how travel schedule, you and I will connect up. So
We should be, yeah. Depends on when we're leaving here, but yeah, sure.
exactly. And so make sure you follow us on YouTube and Facebook. We'll have everything posted on when we're going to do these Energy Condors Connection as we head into round 1 of the playoffs. And like I said, it is a best of 3 series for round 1. So it's going to be really important to like get the ground running from the initial start.
For sure.
All right, Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Every single week, we are your digital connection to catch up on all things with your Bakersfield Condors, the Bako Birds, as I prefer to call them. No one else does. That has not caught on, but I kind of like it, so I'm going to go with it. But anyways, Ryan, I appreciate you as always, my friend.
Thanks, Erik. We'll talk soon.
All right, we'll catch you next time with another edition of your Energy Condors Connection with Energy 95.3.